Shalom, balance, paradise, righteousness, all back one more again in the lab. Continuing the Texas series. Legendary status pioneer, PSK-13 in the building with me. Wreckless Clan, SPC, SUC, father, and so much more. Had to do the solo, man. Welcome to the broadcast, sibling. What do you do, man?
Hey man, glad to be back. Glad to be back. Seemed like yesterday we were just here doing the Wreckless Clan interview, but I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm saying to share what's going on with me, as an artist. So appreciate it.
You're most welcome, sibling. Many are called, but only few are chosen. So,
Word.
in time-honored tradition, we gonna jump into that dear DeLorean, and we gonna go back into time. So take us back, man. Let's take us back to your come up.
Okay. I kind of touched on it in the last interview. I was more, in the early days. I was more of an athlete, and you know, little league. I played everything, man. Baseball, basketball, football, swimming, track. I
Okay.
was into everything as far as as far as athletics is, as far back as I can remember, man. 6, 7, 8 years old, athletics was my thing. Um,
What did you
uh,
enjoy most? What was your go-to out of all that? Was it long jump? Was it swimming? Because it sounds like you was doing a full triathlon kind of thing.
but I ran all relays, and I was a long jumper and a triple jumper.
Right.
So, but actually, what was funny is they were just all something to do until football season came around. So I was just staying busy, not wanting to be at home. My mom had me in Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. She was the den leader. And she had me and my brother, man, in everything. We were never home.
Whoa, sibling. You got Cubs over there. I knew you had scouts. I didn't know you had Cubs. You got Cubs in that dip and all that there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
actually, like I said, my mom was the den leader, man. So we couldn't miss nothing. We had to be there. So that was one of the earliest times early on in the game, and I learned about being a leader. 'Cause my mom was always would always say, the key to being a leader is being present. You have to be there.
mm,
And nobody gonna follow you or let you lead them or listen to you unless you're present. You can't miss practice, can't miss meetings. You got to be there. If you're gonna be a leader, then you have to be there. You have to show, you know, a certain presence. So like I said, I learned early in the game, man. Everything, every sport, everything, every job, every career choice. I've always been a team captain. I've always got promoted to manager within months of every job. Anybody can tell you that.
uh,
Like I said, those are things that I got, from my mom. And my mom is an outstanding personality. She has an outstanding soul. She has an outstanding presence. And she basically raised me and my brother on our own. So through her, we learned that there are no limits. We didn't, man. I didn't learn about anything about really anything racial until we moved out of South Park and moved to the suburbs. I didn't. And what was crazy about it, it was in a way I felt a little bit sheltered, a little bit pissed, but then it was a lesson because when you get around people that judge you for your skin color, then you kind of get an optic or visual of what's really going to be going on in the world. So it was a double-edged sword being moved from the ghetto. And when I was in South Park, we didn't see it as no ghetto. We saw it as home. So I'm gonna say move from the hood to the suburbs, because you kind of get a sense of what they think about you. And on that note, it taught me a lot. You know what I'm saying? It taught me, how to deal with the other side. How to maneuver on the other side of the track,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which proved to be fruitful in all my endeavors since then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can pretty much deal with anybody on their level.
So what you're basically saying is a lot of that foundational teaching is from your mother and being in those athletic meetings and doing the sports stuff, the Cubs, the Scouts, gave you the ability to, number one, understand and overstand the, the importance of leadership, and also the keys to communication and how powerful communication and bringing people together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Without a doubt, that's from my mom. Like I said again, my younger brother and I, man, we just everywhere we go, we end up leading something.
Mm.
So I dedicate that 100% to my mom. She built us like that. She built us to be, leaders, not followers.
So growing up then, as you say, South Park, then you moved to the suburbs.
Mhm.
What kind of, was your mother into a religious system or a spiritual system at this time?
We were more younger. When I would spend time with my dad, we would spend the summers with my dad out in Fifth Ward. My dad was really religious, and we were raised Catholic. My
Hmm.
dad was Catholic, but my mom was more spiritual, and she was more in tune with the inner workings of self.
Yes.
And so living with mom full time, that's where I took my religion or my spirituality. I learned to become in tune with the inner workings of me,
Mm.
and I use that as my religion. And
Right.
because at a young age, man, I knew this, and people would call me cocky, arrogant, or whatever, but it's not cocky or arrogance, man, when you're speaking into existence because you know
Mm.
that I can do this.
The
And
power of self.
everything I've done, I mean, I've excelled at it. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm not capping, but I'm not gonna do it if I know that I'm not gonna excel in it. I'm not gonna even.
It's all or nothing, can it, sibling? If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it
Right.
110%.
Exactly, exactly. And there there are very few things, man, that I've done that I've kind of just said, well, and the only and back to sports. The only thing I couldn't do was hit a baseball.
That shit's difficult. That's why.
I was I was still the fuck out some bases. Run down a pop fly in left field. The whole nine, man. I could not hit a baseball for whatever reasons. Well, I'm a right-hander, but I couldn't bat right-handed, so I bat left-handed.
Hmm.
And so that may be where the little confusion came in, as far as the mechanics and the opticals or whatever. But I
Mm.
mean, like I said, one thing I couldn't do was hit a baseball. So I kind of said, well, baseball not gonna be my thing, but I still played.
Right.
Still
Right.
never quit. I still was the team captain with the worst batting average on the team.
You're still doing the thizzle.
Right, right. But pretty much anything else, man, that requires some mental strength,
Hmm.
a little physical strength. I mean, I'm there, man. I'm there, 100%.
You gonna do that there? So,
Yes.
back then, because obviously I know soccer's a lot bigger now. Was y'all messing around with soccer at school?
Not at all. Not when I was young. Not when I was young. Now, when we moved to the suburbs, you know, kids were playing soccer, and
Okay.
it was the white kids.
Mm.
And when I moved to the suburbs, I played basketball, football, ran track, but soccer wasn't big back then when I was young.
Yeah, yeah. Totally
like it
different.
is now. I mean, it's big here.
Yeah.
You know, you can make money here. Um, and a lot of I wish I would have played soccer because kids that play soccer at a young age, they tend to excel in other sports. Over here now.
Exactly.
So I do wish I would have played soccer, but man, I mean, I love it. I'm not really up on the rules or
Mm.
anything. So I really couldn't watch a soccer game and actually know what's going on.
Yeah,
But
you can, sibling. Listen, I'm telling you now, right? The game. Listen, I don't mess with soccer, like the modern day soccer. The soccer I used to mess with was like 80s and 90s and shit, right? But
right.
the game of soccer itself, the rules are slightly different, some tweaks, but it's a lot more
Uh,
straightforward than American football.
right. Now I found myself watching the World Cup when it was here,
Yes.
and that's when I started really kind of getting into it and learning learning the ins and outs of the
Mm.
rules and stuff like that. And I was really in when it was here. I was really into it. Like I was watching it at work and sneaking to the bathroom and watching. I really was into it, when the World Cup was here. But it's not it's not televised or it gets the exposure like football, basketball, baseball,
Mm.
hockey, even hockey.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a major sport here though.
So back then who was you pulling for then
In what sport?
in soccer
Um,
when you was binging on the World Cup?
America.
How did I guess she's gonna say that, sibling?
Come on now. Come on now. We had an all right team then too. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most
right.
definitely. So you touched on you got a little brother. What is I take it he didn't pursue the musical mastery that you've done?
Well, he is a gifted writer, I might add. If you listen to the Something to Lean To series that we have with Bellway 8 Records,
Yeah.
he's Mr. Tycoon on those records.
Oh
And
shit.
right, that's my younger brother. And my little cousin is Kid Two Face on the um
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
Something to Lean To projects, on the Pay Like You Weigh, on the Pay Like You Weigh 5,000. And that's my younger cousin actually. That's my first cousin. But my brother is more of an extrovert. He's a people person, so he
Yeah.
took on the responsibilities of doing the street promotion.
Mm.
So he's the type of guy, man, to pull up anywhere, and hour or two, he knows everybody, laughing, drinking, bullshitting with everybody.
Hmm.
He's the type of guy. No, actually, him and I work together, and I'm the older brother, and pretty much everybody knows me. When we get on the job, everybody, they'll find out who I am, and I'm man, your PSK, you this, man. I've been listening to your music, this and that. Got CDs, this and that. But at the end of the day, my brother carries the moniker of the most popular guy in the world. I mean, I'm telling you, more than more than a lot of people have. Man, your brother is so damn popular. So he
Yeah.
was. I was always the athlete. He was always the clown. So but he does carry the moniker of the most popular guy in the world.
Everybody knows
So,
your brother.
man, that guy can fall in with anybody,
That
anybody.
that's a good trait to have. That well,
Oh, no doubt,
what star
no
sign are
doubt.
you both?
Huh?
What star sign are you both?
I can't make it out. What you say?
Your star sign?
Oh, he's a Leo. I'm an Aquarius.
Okay, okay. Leo, that's like July, August kind of times, right?
Right, August 16th for him and February 2nd for me.
It makes sense. That makes sense still. Okay, okay.
Right.
Astrologically and based upon the star signs, that does fit in quite nicely with how you've described. Okay, yay. Okay, all
Yeah.
right then. So we're gonna jump back in the DeLorean and fast forward to that Something to Lean To series that you're doing on that Beltway 8, because I
Okay.
stumbled across that there and I was like, hold up, wait a minute. PSK is going off on this CMI.
Well, that was immediately after I kind of severed ties with Big Time Records.
Mm,
Uh, severed ties seems kind of harsh, but it was more like we both kind of went our own ways. Russell was branching off into other things at Big Time Records. I always had aspirations, again back to my aspirations of always being a leader, always having my own, always doing my own thing. So I kind of had aspirations of doing my own label and making everything happen, under my own umbrella and doing me.
mm.
And so we did the Summer Lean to with Beltway 8 Records. It's funny because uh, Mike Mo over at Beltway 8 did an interview with another podcast yesterday actually.
Donnie Houston, my brother.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
right, right. So I don't know if you saw it where he mentioned that that one of the best studio sessions and one of the best sessions that he had was with me.
Yeah.
And Mike was, the story is true. We ran into each other at a strip bar, man, and he introduced himself, and history was made from there. School had already passed. Um, I was trying to get with Michael Watts, uh, my half brother that was actually running night shift music, not the brother we were speaking of earlier. My half
Okay.
brother, um, he kind of did some bad business with Watts, which I didn't know about. I didn't know about this business actually till a few years ago.
Mine.
And my brother had did some bad business, man, with Watts, and Watts kind of had some feelings about it, which I never knew. And like I said, I got with Watts, man, a few years ago. Hey, what's going on, man? You kind of sideswiping me, you kind of brushing me out. What's up, bro? We something I need to know. So he was like, yeah, you still owe me some money. So I was like, whoa, what I mean, where is this coming from, and how do I owe you money? And let's fix it. You know what I'm saying? So he goes into the story about G did this, G did that, G promised this, G signed paperwork on this, which I never knew about. So I said, well, look, let's go ahead and get that bread squared away, Mike, and man, let's continue rocking, man. Your friendship is valuable. And
Mm,
I hadn't heard from Mike Watson. So
damn.
it is what it is. I mean, dude don't make
Feelings, I
right.
guess.
Dude don't don't make me or break me. I mean, that was a Michael Watts tape, man. I mean, that's all that was to me. You know,
Mm.
I extended the olive branch. He didn't accept it, so man, I'm moving on, man. I ain't tripping.
Mm. As you do, and as you're a man, you've done the honorable thing and tried to rectify
Right, right,
situations. It's a little, and people's egos, people's feelings are involved with this here.
right,
Um, but it's a little disappointing to not, what I mean,
right,
not for that thing, as big grown men and stuff. It's like, you know what? Thanks, brother.
right.
You've come to me. You've squared me off. We can
Well,
break bread
right,
now.
and
You know what I mean?
that's how I expected to happen because that's normally how how adults maneuver through issues. And but when it didn't happen, I mean, I wasn't shocked, I wasn't surprised, I wasn't hurt, I wasn't happy. It was just okay. Well, that is what it is. So
But well, you never know, sibling. This crazy zombie apocalypse. People reflecting on past situations and people. Um, you might get a little call, man. You might get a little DM saying,
well,
you know what? Let's do this, young man.
I mean, that's the type of dude I am. And if it does, then I'm gonna handle it. And I respond appropriately, and that's just the type of dude I am. And I don't harbor no ill feelings.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, that's too much weight on my back, man. I'm doing too great for that. Life is too good, man, to be upset about something you can't control.
For sure. So
Back
how
to the
big?
we were talking about the something to lean to. And,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
well, like I said, I got with Mike Mo, and he was real hot at the time, man. Like he was saying in the interview, he kind of emerged on the scene like real fast, and like the void was there, like he said. Um, Watts had his own followers, then he had people that didn't fuck with him.
Mm,
So that kind of left a void, and Mike Mo filled it in, and start listening to a few Mike Mo tapes, and hey man, this might work.
it's okay. So in essence, what you're saying is, did Beltway take up where Screw left off in regard to the South Side and Screw tapes? Because obviously
Well,
Watts was more north, right?
it kind of depends on how you looked at it. Mike Watts operated out of Prairie View, and Prairie View is a college town, man. Maybe an hour outside of Houston. So it wasn't necessarily a north or south thing when it came to Beltway 8. And that's kind of what, that's kind of what aided him in blowing up as well, because no one was caught up in the north or south side. Nobody on the south side was like, fuck Mo. Nobody on the north side was like, fuck Mike Mo, fuck Beltway 8. All the shit was just banging, and you didn't have to choose a side when you went to buy Mike Mo's music.
Mm,
So, and that was kind of one of the things that, that maybe helped him
yeah.
be as popular as he was. Because, nobody really had to choose. The North Side couldn't say, well, man, that nigga from the South Side, I ain't gonna buy his music, and vice versa.
Yes. Because from what I'm hearing, mine, it was at some points that was hella crazy and hectic at times, that North and South rivalry. But
Yeah, right,
it's good that men have grown boys have become men,
right,
and men have become men,
right,
mentally. Um,
right,
so there's growth and development in that respect.
right.
There's no real divide in that respect now, is there?
No, I mean, you still have,
People
it's
still
just
have
like,
pride, obviously, in the South, and then
right,
where you're
exactly.
from.
It's just like anything, man. You still have people, like you said, that still have pride from being from the South Side, still have pride from being from the North Side. But for the most part, everybody trying to get money now, you
Mm,
know. And like I said, for the most part, it's it's them chilled out a little bit, but you still have folks that, like you said, have their pride, man. So,
mm,
but I don't see it as being any issue like it was back in the day, or real hyped up, or real dangerous, so to speak.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, and another thing, sibling, can you explain, if you can, the ward thing in Houston? How did that take place? Like, you got like Fifth
Well,
Ward and
well, that was a way of not necessarily segregating, but separating the city. New Orleans has the same thing. They have wards as well.
exactly.
And wards are just different parts of the city where they just gave those names. This is going to be the first ward starting from downtown, moving out,
Mm,
and in the surrounding areas of downtown. Excuse me. They were just called wards. It wasn't anything. This was before. This is the very beginning of Houston,
yeah.
so it didn't have anything necessarily to do with race or anything like that. Those are just designations of different parts of the city. That's all.
So, out of all the wards when you were coming up, was there a ward which was more looked on as a nicer ward, or a place like, yeah, I want to go to the Ninth Ward, for instance, or
Well, to be honest, remember earlier I said that the wards were areas around downtown.
Mhm.
So that was the inner city.
Right.
So and most of the inner cities, aren't necessarily desirable places, but you still have your pride in where you come from. So I mean, to answer your question, I mean, no, I don't remember, really growing up saying, hey, I want us to live in this ward or live in that ward. I was proud to be from South Park. And South Park is a little bit further out than say Third Ward. Fifth Ward is on the north side. Third
Okay.
Ward, Third Ward is on the north on the south side. First, second, fourth ward. They're all surrounding downtown. They're all surround downtown. But
Mm.
third ward is on the south of downtown. Fifth ward is north of downtown.
So all right then, South Park then being more on the outskirts, was that more, if I can say, more rural? Did you have more like land and stuff out there, or?
No, South Park is still, is still the pretty much, is the inner city. But then, like I said, the wards are much closer to downtown, and streets, separate Third Ward and South Park.
Yeah, I
So,
hear that.
if you wanna say it like Third Ward, then you have South Park. South Park is an extension of Third Ward, to be honest, because you can drive a couple of minutes in South Park and then be in Third Ward.
Okay. So they're that close.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right then. So but back to this is something to lean to, because you had volume what, 1, 2, and then the Pay Like You. Did you have more than one and two volumes? Because that was the only one I was able to get.
Yeah, I got 1, 2, and then 3.
So that Pay Like You weigh 5,000. What, that was another one.
Right. That's just a slow to chop version of my album called Pay Like You Weigh. I did a compilation called Pay Like You Weigh, and did actually well. And
Yeah.
that was actually the first project that I did after I left Big Time Records.
Okay. Did I get that there?
It's the blue cover when I'm sitting on the money. It looks just like the 5,000.
Okay, yeah, I've got both of them then. I've got both of them. Yeah. See, at that time, your boys were coming out with some heat, man. Every single album that was dropped at that period, there wasn't really tracks that you'd be skipping. There were straight rollers, straight
Right.
rollers.
You
What
had
was?
to, man, because the music and the art and the talent, man, coming out of Houston, man, kept you on your toes. You had to do something that was gonna say, I mean, I remember saying like, man, you got to come with some heat because everybody else is,
Yes.
and the competition was on fire, man. We you had artists that really they probably deserve, more props than they got, but that were just as good as what I'm saying, artists that were big time. So
Mm,
you weren't just competing with the Ghetto Boys and the Swab houses and the big time records and the Rec Shop records. You were
Rec
competing
Shop.
with all those sub artists too, because those artists that were putting their own music out or had less known labels, they were putting out heat too.
Mm.
They were talented too.
So who was you? All right, then give me an idea of who was you when you was putting together that Pay Like You Way compilation, for instance.
Uh-huh.
Who was you thinking? Okay, I'm putting this here together, and I know XYZ is coming out. Who was you kind of like thinking? Okay, I'm going to be going head to head with these two artists or this artist. I need to make sure that.
Well, the artists that always kept me on my toes was the artists that were around me, the artists that were on the label, the artists that I knew firsthand. What they do. The K Renos, the Point Blanks.
Yeah.
And then of course, Rap a Lot. We always wanted to compete with Rap a Lot because they were the bar.
Yeah.
So you always were saying, man, I want my shit, to sell like that. I
Mm.
want my shit to be on that level. Swab House, again, Rec Shop. You know what I'm saying? Again, like a lot of labels, man, I had everybody in mind when I was writing. Ball, G, UGK, Face,
Mm-hmm.
again, K Reno, Point Blank.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in there, like, man, damn, bro, this is who I got to compete with, and they're all in my city,
Yeah.
you know. So, but it wasn't hard to get, it wasn't hard to get no motivation. And those guys, right here in the city, right under your face, we were in the same office building at Suave House.
Serious.
Yeah, we were in the same office building. You go in and out of the building, man. You might see Bob, you might see G, might see Mr. Mike, might see Crime Boss. I mean, we were in the same building, bro.
So was Thora, was Tila around at this time as well?
Tila. I never really ran into Tila a lot in Houston. I think Tila was probably out of town a lot.
Okay.
I never really bumped into Tila in Houston. That's not to say he wasn't here, but he and I never really crossed paths, on the scene here in Houston.
Okay, so because you're obviously you was at the same building, which is crazy, right? And once you left Big Time, did the Honorable Tony Draper say like, "Hey, PSK, my what it do?"
Well, shit, I wish, but they had their own things, man, going, and I mean, if he would have, it was something that I would have considered. But man, they were doing their own thing, man. I don't really think we're looking for any more label, any more artists. Um, but I'm like even before I signed with Big Time, I had sent my demos to Rap a lot, and I got the call from Jay, which was lovely. I'm like, damn, bro, little Jay dialed my phone number, and he was he was in the mind frame of I had 4 songs, and he was like, well, can you get me 10 to 12 songs done and get them back to me? But at this point, I ain't had no money.
So was this
my demo actually was paid for by a friend of mine that believed in me. Man, I was fresh out of school. I didn't have no money for no studio. So 10 to 12 songs was like saying, man, if you can come up with $1 million, I'll sign. I was like, gee. But I took that as a sign that maybe I got something. Like, okay, if Lil J take the time to listen to my tape and call me back, I got something.
That's big.
So that was enough for me right there to keep going.
So, hey, so Sibling,
I was gonna get it done, but it was enough to keep me going.
Yes. So let me just get this right. So was Little J saying if you get him these 12 tracks, was that gonna be then your album then? He would have said, okay, yeah, you get me them 12 tracks, so I'm gonna put this shit out, and then or was it a case of I want to hear it and then see what you're saying and then maybe remix a few with some Mike Dean or Beto or something like that?
That's the impression that I got. Like if I come up with some more music for him to hear, then he would take it from there.
Okay.
And again, I'm thinking, damn, like I'm screaming yeah in my head, like hell yeah, and at the same time, damn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that would have been a very different story. Well, how much of a different story then do you think that fork in the road would have been if you would have had those 12 tracks? Do you still think you would have linked with Blank and K Reno and them?
Eventually, because the artists that I listened to before were the Terrorists.
Yes.
And K Reno and Point Blank. In school, when I was in school, the artists from Houston, those were the artists from Houston. So I went to school about 3 hours away from Houston, and I took all that music, up there with me, and was turning everybody on to the K Reno and COD, and like I said, the Terrorists, Gangsta Nip.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if not K Reno or Point Blank, if I did the Rap Lot deal, I'd have been label mates with the Terrorists and Gangsta Nip.
Yes.
And Not to mention that in junior high when I played ball, Egypt was my center. I was quarterback.
Damn.
And Egypt E from Material was my center.
Now, was Egypt the producer, DJ?
He was the DJ.
Right. Okay.
He was a DJ and producer. Dopey did pretty much most of the production, but Egypt was the producer and the DJ.
Is Egypt still about these days?
Oh
Putting
yeah,
in that
yeah,
work?
Egypt still on the stand. Yeah, Egypt still DJing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Terror strikes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
detonate landmines. AM.
Blow them hoes up.
Yeah. Prejudice bastards.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You see, on at that time, I mean, look, we're talking 91. That would have been recorded maybe 90, maybe early 91. The
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
content which is being produced, even I have to say this on every time I have y'all on. You encapsulate and also or also almost prophetic with some of the stuff which was laid out many moons ago. We're seeing it, we're hearing it, maybe in different formats. I mean, it's a soundtrack for life, man. It's how do you come up with these concepts? I know some of it is.
Well, I don't. The only thing I can say, man, is that when you're around real people, all you can do is keep it real. Because when you're in a small space with people, they're gonna figure you out. When you're in a studio, man, with 10, 11, 12 people, and you ain't really 100, you're gonna get figured out. So all you can do around those cats is be real. We was never really into the balling lifestyle for the most part. I got off into it because I like to cap a little bit,
Yeah.
talk a little shit, and that's just me though, and they accepted me for that. But for the most part, man, I mean, those are cats that you just got to be real around, man. We were doing and this is funny too. I have it in my phone. I'm gonna look for it. We were doing an interview for the DJ Screw's 25th anniversary, and it was me, Cino from the Botany Boys, Russell, and K Reno. And Kiki was saying, like, when he was young, how he used to look up to us, but he was doing the coming down music, the culture music. You know what I'm saying? The slab music.
Yeah.
So he said, man, every time y'all used to come around, man, I used to just get scared and feel like, man, these niggas is too real and this and that and this and that. He said one day, he was somewhere, man, freestyling with some cats. And he said, K Reno walked around the corner. He said, all the music stopped. Everybody stiffened up. Everybody started standing up. He said, man, we all got stiff. We all stood up straight and shit, put our shirts on. He said, man, K Reno walked around the corner, man. It felt like my daddy walked around the corner.
The wizard himself. So, what's the age difference?
Oh, Kiki, all those guys are way younger than us, man. I'm at least, I would say at least 10 years, 15 years.
Damn. Okay.
Like all those guys are young, man. I'm an old cat, man. God just blessed me,
The wonders of melanin and all them some.
Huh?
The wonders of melanin and all them things.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Melanin is a good thing.
Sure is, man. It sure is. All praises. All praises.
Yeah.
So as you say, mate,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, as you say, you all were very different in regards to, and I've highlighted this before in regards to the content matter. You yourself were a little bit more flashy with your thing.
Right,
um, and that gave an excellent mix to it. And as you've highlighted, the H Town culture music, which Kiki
right,
was, is, you know, the Don
right,
Dada.
right.
Um,
And I thought that too. That was kind of planned out. Like I was thinking, I could still stay in the same realm with these guys, but just add a little drip to it.
mm,
So that's kind of was my little niche in the SPC.
that makes you stick out. I mean, to be fair, a lot of people do stick out at the SBC. Um,
Right,
a lot of people do, but there are certain standouts within the SPC. Was, everyone's got their own tones. As soon as you hear Q Boy, as soon as you hear Murder, everyone has got their own kind of sound. But
right,
there ain't nothing like when you hear K come on the beat on one of those tracks, when
right,
Blank comes on, when Ice
right,
Lord drops one of those
right,
verses,
right,
you
right,
know,
right,
it's
right,
something special, man. It's something
right,
special.
right, right. And I hope, like I said, I try to be that. I try to be the first. I want to rap on the first verse. In any song we do, I always ask, can I go first? And that's not necessarily to show nobody up, but I just know like what's coming behind me. You see
Mm,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
I know that my style, my wordplay, my rhyme pattern is gonna be different, and it's gonna complement anybody who's coming behind me.
Hmm.
So that's why I like to start songs off. Okay, Reno said I'm the greatest song starter in the world. I'm like, thank you, man. So coming from the Wiz, man, any kind of compliment, you know, is
Yeah,
flowers.
definite, man. Definite from the wizard himself, K Reno. It's the
Right,
starter, the
right,
foundation of this audio. Hey, let's
right.
let's rewind back to that Born Bad album.
Okay.
Ice T.
Yes, sir.
How did that come to pass?
We got connected with Ice-T through Born Twice. Born Twice is a member of the Rhyme Syndicate.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Right. He and Ice-T are literally brothers.
What?
And, I Born Twice hooked that up with Russell, and Eddie Coleman, R.I.P., was the president of Big Time Records. He knew that Ice-T was one of my favorite rappers, so he's like, "Hey man,
Yay.
I got a surprise for you. I got a surprise for you. How would you like to work with Ice-T?" I'm like, "What? No, is that even a question? Let's do it. Let's go, man." So just meeting Ice-T and hanging out with Ice-T, man, was super cool. I remember picking him up from the airport, and he was like, "Why y'all got a limousine? Y'all could have saved that money, man." You know what I'm saying? I mean, he hung out with us, man, rode around with us. And I remember when we went places with Ice-T, like here in Houston, riding around, hanging out, chilling. Like, bro, I've never been around anybody in my life that everybody knows. Middle Easterners, Asians,
Mm,
white people, black people, you name it. Wherever we went, shit stopped. Literally.
yeah.
People stopped shopping. People stopped walking. People stopped eating. And I was just like, well, damn, man. I mean, I thought, what I'm saying? I thought I was, a little popular. Well, bro, that's other level shit. Like I still haven't, and I've been around some of the, most famous celebrities in the world, man.
Mm,
but ain't nobody shut shit down like Ice-T. Nobody.
He's big
Down
time,
to earth
man.
cat, down to earth cat, man. You know, even after he left and we did the song, we still kept in touch. Still was 100.
Mm.
He stayed he stayed an extra weekend for my album release party. He performed at my album release party. It was just an all around good dude, man. Real dude, man. You know what I mean? And he took the time out to speak and conversate with everybody in my family. My whole family was at my release party.
Wow.
From my aunts and my cousins, and he had conversations with every single one of them. Not just, hey, how you doing? I'm Ice T. He had conversations with them, and real good dude, man. That was a very that was a very fun album to make because I was in the zone making that album. Like those songs just came out. The producers that I work with, we were all on one accord as far as the music. Southern Fried Entertainment did most of the work,
Who was
and
that? Can you break down like that collaborative? Who is Southern Fried Entertainment?
well, they consisted of a guy named Tim, a guy named Marlon, we called him one, JoJo, and Joe Bythewood, JB Money. JB Money ended up doing a lot of work for Rap a Lot after my album.
Okay.
And JB would tell me, man, after your album, I worked every day after I did your album.
This
Um, Marlon Marlon went on to do a remix for Outkast. He did man, I can't remember now, but he did songs for major groups. He did work with Ice Cube. He on I think on the Death Certificate album, song
oh
called
shit.
Pecking Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marlon did that song. It's the same guy that did most of the beats on Born Bad.
Yeah. The
Um, they, they got
youngster.
they got that work after Born Bad. And they'll tell me to this day, man, Born Bad put us on the map. Born Bad got us money. Born Bad got us work.
Because sibling, that album sonically, production wise, lyrics, there wasn't a whole load of features on there, but the features on there were dope.
Right.
That again, that is something you can grab your CD, you put that there in, press play, and just sit back.
That was the whole objective, man. The mixing and the mastering were done by Skip Holman. Um, Skip Holman, he told me, and this is true. He says, when I get through with this album, you're gonna be able to put this album in any system or radio. You're gonna be able to turn that motherfucker up to 10, and the speakers won't bust. It's gonna be crispy clear, even on 10. Now, if you grab an original copy of Born Bad, put that song bitch in your CD player and turn it up to 10
Mm.
and see what happens. No distortion,
None.
no nothing, no rattling, no rattling speakers. It's gonna be smooth, crispy, and clean. When I when Priority got the project, Dave Weiner called me. And the same Dave Weiner that they were talking about in the masterpiece,
Yeah.
No Limit Chronicles, the same Dave Weiner. He called me and he was like, honestly, me and Mystical album came out that same month. And he said, I think he said something like, you missed Billboard by like 80 copies,
Damn.
by 80 sales. But he was like, I'm gonna tell you right now, PSK, this is the best album to come out the South all year. He said he liked it better than Mystical's album.
Which
You know,
mystical album was this?
I don't remember whichever one came out in October of '97.
Seven. So that would have been the No Limit one, the Unbreakable,
Right,
Unpredictable. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It was
It's a
that
hands
one.
down.
It was definitely on the No Limit one. But he says, man, I'm gonna just be honest with you. No knock on Mystical. I mean, I can't touch Mystical album sales, but coming from day one and one of the big guys at Priority,
Mm.
that kept me going at all. Also it's like, man, this is the best album come out the South. You missed Billboard by like 80 pieces or something like that, some real slim number. And you know, when the guy's telling you, man, that this is my favorite album, he said I had to get a whole new system in my car because I'm so used to it listening to it here in the office. Yes, sir. And that's on everything I love.
Man,
Yeah. Born Bad,
skip.
man, Born Bad put me on the map.
That was mastery, pure mastery. So the process of actually of Ice-T putting those bars down, because when I first grabbed, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I went to the center of town like real early, about 10:30. Went to my record store. Didn't expect to see no PSK. I just saw two babies and like, what album called? What's this? Looked like saw PSK. I was like, yeah. I'll get this one. I can't remember what other selection I got. I think I got over another two CDs at that time. It might have been that Mystical I probably got at the same time. I went straight home and started listening to it. And I was on the bus and I was thinking, Ice-T, that's out the box. I don't expect to see Ice-T on this CMI.
Yeah.
How is he going to be able to cope on a Wreckless Clan PSK kind of thing?
Right.
So I was, and then I heard it and I was like, with them champagne popping and pouring and all that there.
Right.
Sibling, explain how did that come about, man? How was the actual recording of the verse?
But we did that at Samplify Studios. Rest in peace to Maestro. Maestro was from Jersey as well. He had worked with, man, a lot of artists from up that way, up to including Run DMC, I think LL, a lot of people like that. So he made, he made Ice-T feel at home in the studio. And at first we kind of went through a few songs on the album, and I could tell that Ice-T was kind of figure out, which song he wanted to do and how he was going to, do his thing on the songs. So when he first got in, when he first started, listening, I think he was a bit confused, to be honest. And when Big Players came on, it actually had already been on the Wreckless Clan album before that. And that was my solo song on the Wreckless Clan, on the first Wreckless Clan album. That was my solo song. So if you listen to the first Wreckless Clan album, Big Players is on there, but Ice-T ain't on it.
Yep, blowing up the scene.
Right. And so I played that, of course, Pimp, the Pimp in him liked it, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, 13, what you think about this one, man? What you think about me hopping on this one? I was like, man, shit, you hop on whatever song you feel it. We played that song most of the night. We sat around, bullshitted, chopped it up, took breaks, went ate, and eventually, at the end of the night, he had his verse done and went in and rocked it.
Perfect.
So like I said, that entire time with Ice-T, man, was something I never forget. And he was he was one of the guys, man. We ended up after that. We ended up meeting him up in Dallas. He invited us up to Dallas. So we drove up to Dallas and kicked it with him. So that's this type of dude he is. Real cool dude.
Definitely, I'm very talented. Not so much rapping wise now. He's doing his acting thing, man.
Right. Yeah.
He's doing it, man. He's doing it. He's for the youngsters, for the millennial, for the Generation Z.
Right.
who who just know Ice-T is, and Law and Order and all that there. This
Right.
brother was a, very talented artist, man,
Right. Right.
you don't put it down. Hey, so all right then, sticking with this Born Bad, like yesterday, sibling, again, a prophetic, emotional, also a thought-provoking track.
Uh,
Rising Paradise, Chad Butler, Pimp C.
right.
Um, break that. How did that come to fruition?
Well, that song was one of them songs, man, that just flowed, came out, um, no retakes, no correcting anything. Um, Chad came in the studio. Again, we were at Southern Fried Studios, and told JB, he was like, JB, play that bass line from Love Don't Live Here anymore.
Mm,
JB he didn't have to even think about it. Dum, 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 boom. Marlon programmed the drums. So we had a skeleton track to work with. Um, Instantaneously, Bun was like, man, I'm gonna try to sing this hook. Just hear me out, PSK. I'm gonna try to sing. And I was like, shit, man, I ain't questioning nothing you doing, you know. So Bun went in and did, if I'm mistaken, Bun went in and did the hook first, but he didn't like it. And he's like, well, nah, man, let's try something else. Not to, shit. Me and Chad was like, nah, don't touch that. You know, Chad, Bumpy, man, don't touch that, Bumpy. So he did the hook. Pimp went and did his verse. Shit, after that hook, after Bun did that hook and Pimp did his verse, we was like, oh hell yeah, we was sitting up in our seats like,
mm,
we got something. So I
yeah.
wrote my verse. Shit, we did the song, and then maybe about, while the song was still in our heads, we were still playing it, listening to it. Chad had the genius idea of we need to do the radio edit right now.
Mm,
While we still got that melody in our head, and while we still listening to it, we don't want to come back later on and do the radio version and our voices sound different. We're in a
yeah.
different tone and all that other stuff. So he came up with the genius idea. Let's do the radio edit right now. So when Chad said, let's do the radio edit, that flipped me into a whole nother mode. Like, oh shit, I got a radio hit now. It wasn't necessarily. I didn't have them on the album to give me a radio song. I had
Mhm,
them on the
mhm.
album just to have them on the album because I mean those are my label mates. I was a fan, and I was
Yeah.
honored to have them on the album. But when Chad said, "Man, let's do the radio edit right now," that flipped me into a whole different frame of mind, and you could tell, how the rest of the album came out. I was on cloud nine, man. Like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, this is this what I want my shit to sound like. So
For
you know,
she.
that was one of the first songs that I had recorded, if I'm not mistaken. And the whole album kind of follows suit.
Okay. Okay.
But let me reiterate, Bun hated that hook.
Initially,
Bun,
yeah.
Bun did not like it. He still don't like it.
Honestly.
Yeah, he did an interview a few months ago, and somebody asked him in the interview, has he ever sung on a song? And he said, yeah, I sung on a song, a good friend of mine song, PSK-13. Went into it, we good. Me and Bun were good friends, outside of the music business.
Hmm.
So, he went on to, explain our friendship, And he said, yeah, I did try to sing. He said he didn't really like it, but the song was a hit, man. I think the only person that didn't like it was probably him.
That knocked mine. Did you ever do a video to it as well?
No, we could have, and I'm gonna leave it at that because
Okay.
I really don't know the business behind the video,
Hmm.
behind what Russell at Big Time and what Priority Records were really discussing as far as the video. I know it was in discussion,
Okay.
and but from what I was hearing, um, Russell didn't want to take the money for the video because videos back then were $50,000,
Easy.
and he didn't want to take that money and be in the hole, that much with Priority
Mm.
back then. Which as an artist, I'm like, come on, man, bro, goddamn, do the fucking video. But as a businessman, you know, why
Yeah.
jump, why jump, why jump 50 grand in the hole when the song already doing good already?
It's, as you say, it's understandable, but at the same time, you gotta speculate to accumulate. And I think if
Right.
if a video, and I'm pretty sure you're in the same mindset, if a video was done for that there, that would have taken it just to another place.
Another level. Right, right, right. Now I have to agree with that.
Mm.
Like I said, from an artist standpoint, I wasn't getting that shit.
Mm.
From a businessman standpoint, you kind of,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all right.
Okay, all right, all right, all right. Another feature which I'm real interested in, as I'm now embarking on the New Orleans series. Um, Ghetto Twins.
My girl.
Yay,
Yes, sir.
precise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We still in touch, man. We still interact on IG. Some of the coolest sisters, man, I know. They always fucked with me. They always rocked out with me. Even though some niggas in New Orleans was hating. And
What on them featuring? Or
yeah, it was niggas in the studio hating. You know what
okay.
I'm saying? Like, real talk. We did the song in Precise's studio. But Precise went to another studio. I forgot the name of it in New Orleans. And
So you went
some
down
some
to New Orleans to do it?
yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to stay in that element, because I wanted the song to have, a kind of New Orleans feel because
Yeah.
New Orleans music was doing real good, and so I wanted to stay in that element. So we went down there and recorded,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
these old hating ass niggas in the studio, some prominent artists in New Orleans too, and
Okay.
they ain't really like that shit, but the song was successful, and it played on the radio here in Houston. So, fuck you niggas.
It
Yeah.
is what it is, man. Greatness. You see what it
If they,
is?
if they ever see this video, they gonna know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Fuck you
yeah.
niggas.
Okay. It is what it is, man. When greatness is
But again,
around.
right? Again, those are my sisters, man. I love them to death. Uh, you know, shout out to them. Shout out to Precise. Like I said, we still interact on social media, man. And if you check in my Instagram posts, they right on there liking them, commenting.
Yeah.
Those are my sisters, man. Love y'all.
Talented sistrins, man.
Yes,
Talented
sir.
sistrins.
Yes,
Hey, so what was it like working with the legendary Leroy Precise?
I was.
Outside of
I,
them hating ass niggas, forget them hating ass niggas, yeah?
Yeah, fuck the niggas. I just wanted to say that just in case they're watching this video. Fuck you niggas. And, but but Precise, man, Precise was just as you would think, man. Perfectionist, super cool ass, down to earth dude. Now I don't know if a lot of people know, but he's married to one of the twins.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And, but super cool dude, man. And let me add that I have never been so high in my life. Man, them girls got me smoked the fuck out. It's only 2 times where I remember saying, no mas. And I was with the twins, and the other one was with Tommy Wright ass. So I don't know, you familiar with Tommy Wright out of Memphis?
Tell me right, the third from Memphis, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, man.
yeah,
Legend, sibling.
yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, yeah, that's my dude. So those are the only 2 times, man, where I was like, bruh, no, 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 no. But again, working for Precise, man, Precise did everything I wanted on the beat. He crafted the beat, exactly how I wanted it. And if you listen to the song, it's got that same wah wah in it. That's an that's a mystical song. And
Okay.
I forgot what song the mystical used that. The man right here. It's got
Okay.
it's got the same wah wah in it. And
Yeah, yeah.
I said, Precise, man, like everybody know you for that, bro. I got to have that in the beat. And I thought he was gonna be like, well, nah, man, that's mystical song, and I don't want to use, man. He said, shit, okay.
Yeah.
Put that bitch right in there.
Let's do this shit, man. You know
Right,
what?
right.
I've got to go back and peep that there, that Ghetto Twins. I remember the vocals on it and stuff and the
Uh-huh.
content, but for some reason I
But listen to
can't.
the beat. It's got the same little. Wah, wah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, it's got the
yes.
same little one. I said, I got to have that, man. So he put it in now.
Definitely. And he's again legend in the game. People talk about Manny
Right,
Fresh and all that there, but Leroy Precise, he
right, right,
excellent producer, man.
right,
Excellent
right.
producer.
Shout out to them, man. Love y'all, man. All 3 of y'all 100. They still here in Houston too. So
Oh, that they're relocated up to Houston.
right, mhm,
Okay, we'll talk back office sibling about that there. You heard?
right, right.
All right.
No doubt.
I got one more about this Born Bad.
Uh,
I got one more about this Born Bad album, and it's the Sticky Situations.
mm,
Another classic track, sibling. Another banger. Who's the vocalist on that there?
that was.
Because she sung her ass
Man, I do not
off.
want to get her name wrong. I think, man, what is her name, man? And I'm not saying it because I don't want to get it wrong, man. She actually is the same voice on Fifth Ward Boys. Um,
Um, the Rated G album.
what's the song, man? Virginia is her name.
Okay.
Virginia is her name. And the Fifth Ward Boys song she sung on
I know it's like which one you're talking about. I can't.
Situations. No, Situations are the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Situations.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, it's the same shit, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Situations. Yep,
yeah, yeah,
yep.
yeah. So that's the same voice in Virginia. Virginia, when we did that immediately after she got into secular music,
Oh,
and
okay.
it wasn't really tough, but we respected her wishes, so she didn't really perform it with us, but she loved that song.
Yes.
She loved that song, man. She loved listening to that song, and that's Sticky Situations is actually one of my favorite songs
Yep. Me too.
because because like I said, the way it came together and the way Virginia sung on the hook, and I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of impressed myself with the lyrics as well.
Listen, sibling, you
Um,
going off. I mean, the whole album you going off, but that's the
right,
vocals, the production, and what you're spitting on that there, man. It's space age, man. It's space age.
right, right. So that I had a lot of fun making that song, man, and like I said, the that was another one of them songs. Like when I picked up the pad, it wasn't no word scratched out, wasn't no word switched. It just all
Straight,
came out. You know what I'm saying? You know what
man.
I'm saying? I got a crew of motherfuckers that we thick like Allen, 17 in the clip, 17 back talent. You know what I'm saying? Just So it just flowed out, man. Just got me a crew of motherfuckers and we think like hell. 17, you know what I'm saying? So it just all came out, man. That like again, that was one of my favorite songs. And I like that song. I like the overall just finished product of that song.
Yes. Classic,
And
man.
one more song on that album that is probably about the favorite my most favorite song that I've ever recorded was Guilty with Blak from 20 to Life.
Oh my day.
That song has a special meaning to me because
Yeah.
my grandma, who's passed now,
Rising
she would
Paradise.
never listen to my music because she knew I did a lot of cursing and things like that. And you know, our old black women who were
Indeed.
raised in the church, you know,
Yeah.
why you gotta do that? Why you gotta do that? You can make music for the Lord. And you can make music where you ain't gotta curse. And I'm like, Grandma, but that ain't what's going on right now. And, you know, this and this and that. Here, go play bingo. Here's $100. Go play bingo. Um, but she did say, before I die, you're gonna make a song for the Lord. And I said, I promise, Grandma, I am. I promise you. And Guilty was it. And JoJo from Southern Fried did that track. And that was a replay of a song that I heard from, man, I'm getting too old. I can't remember, man.
It happens,
Guy
sibling.
named, a guy named Tony. He was like a neo soul artist, man. And the song was called Billy Goat's Gruff.
Okay.
Um, the guy name was Tony something, man. Um, man, I want to Google the song, but when I heard that song, when I heard the guy's name was Tony, I can't remember his last name. Little dark skinned dude, wore a fedora hat and glasses, and the song was called Billy Goes Gruff. But again, like I said, when I heard that song, I was like, that's the song I want to do for my grandmother. That beat.
Okay.
Because it sounded like something straight from the church. You know, the piano.
Yes. It's very soulful in that respect. Yep.
And then, you know, JoJo added the organs in it to make it more of a church feel. And then he hears some hand claps in the back. Feel right like you were at church. And I was like, okay, no boom. And that song, I had written the whole song. And Blak called me from 20 to Life, like, damn, bro, I ain't on the album. I was like, oh shit, my bad, dog. You know, man, because again, remember I told you the album was just, I was in the zone. I was pretty much flowing. You said it yourself, not a lot of features. So I was just kind of in the zone, just doing these songs. And I had totally forgot that I didn't have 20 to Life on the album. And so I said, you know what, Blak? You got the perfect voice for this song. I got you right now. Come to the studio. Boom. There it is. You know, here she was made. You know, that's probably my favorite song that I've recorded because, you know, the backstory.
Yes. And again, rise in peace to Grandma, man.
Exactly.
Bringing forth that there. But you got again the youngster, track number 7.
I get a lot of feedback from that song, man. I've got mail, email, phone calls, man. You just don't know how that song changed my life. You just don't know how that song is about me. Another backstory to the youngster. I pitched a movie script and got some interest in the movie script, and that was the title song to my movie. The movie was called Youngster, and I had written a movie, you know, based on everything that the song was saying. You know, a little young guy, man, fearless guy, younger than everybody else, just a little different cat that people gravitated to. Was kind of intriguing because he was so young, but with so much courage, spirit, gumption, balls, and smarts. And I thought that would be a storyline that would attract people, especially, you know, during that era, during that time period.
Yeah.
And like I said, I pitched it for a movie, man. I got some people to listen to it. And I put the song on the album, and a lot of people gravitated to the song. And you know, but as far as the movie, it just never came into fruition. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I still have the you know, I still have the movie written out. And but you know, I mean, it may happen one day, it may not.
This
But
is it.
the movies, I think the movie will do well.
Listen, sibling, based upon what you put down in that short 5 minute plus track, if there's a script to go along with that, that's a hit right there, man. If the right person produces it, we got the right people in that there,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right. If God say the same, man, I may, you know, come up with some with some backers or something, man, and put some money behind it. I mean, like I said, it's not a dead issue with me. You know, just the timing hadn't been right. But you know, like I said, the song in itself, you know, stands out on its own, man. I've gotten so many, you know, so many compliments and
Yeah.
so many people that relate to the song.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, that you've got so much on that there. Was that sister who was on Sticky Situation? Was she on Pay Like Your Way as well?
Virginia, no, she did a lot of work on 20 Life's albums.
Okay.
That's how I ended up meeting Virginia because her and Blak were real tight.
Right.
And Blak don't get a lot of credit, man, for what he done in Houston as well. He was Blak. Blak was their own executive producer. A lot of people think that 20 Life was on Big Time Records.
Whoa. One moment, sibling. One moment.